What's up, rock stars? It's the kid JW here, and we're back again with another episode of the JW Show. Now, this episode, we're diving into a little bit of things. What I like to say is repairing trust when the relationship is actually on the rocks. Because let's face it, sometimes relationships goes through its ups and downs. Sometimes, trust gets broken, whether it's hanging out with, spending time with a friend of the opposite sex, or spending time with a friend in general, and something happens where the trust is broken in the relationship. And trust is the foundation of a relationship. It's not about, oh, let's just skate past it and ignore it. No. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into some practical steps on how to maintain trust, well, rather rebuild trust after it's been broken. And also, hopefully, by the time this video is over with, you know what to do to rebuild trust in your relationship. Now, of course, go ahead, let's stick around, especially if you want to go ahead and improve your trust and rebuild your trust because, hey, we've made mistakes before. So without further ado, let's dive on into it and understand the broken trust, okay? Now, the first thing you want to do when trust is broken in a relationship is, in my opinion, acknowledge the pain. First things first, acknowledge the pain. Acknowledge your partner's hurt and pain coming from that, especially if you messed up and you kept something from your partner. You want to acknowledge that pain first things first, because that shows that you actually care. And honestly, when it comes to acknowledging that pain that your partner's going through, it sucks, because it leaves your partner feeling confused, distraught, not sure what's what, and it basically leaves them in a spot where they don't want to be in. It's a horrible headspace. I know, because I've been there a few times in my life. And it's something that I wouldn't recommend on nobody, because when you're going through that stage of having your trust destroyed in a relationship, you're unsure about a lot of things. And if you don't handle it, or it's not even being acknowledged, that builds to the point where your next relationship is already damaged, or even your current relationship that you're just there because you're hoping it fixes itself is beyond repair. And also, let's normalize this. Let's normalize the pain. The truth is, trust issues happen in many relationships. I don't care if you've been together for 2, 3, 10 years, trust issues happen. Sometimes we get so caught in the relationship and life itself that we forget about our partner. And it could be something as simple as your partner hanging out with a longtime friend, or a friend that they knew in high school or college, and they finally came back in town and hanging out with them, and you don't know what's going on. So you look at that fester and whatnot, and if your partner goes out with that friend or whatever, and they don't do the normal things that they do when they go out, such as calling you, letting you know what's what, then yeah, that can play into a role of trust issues, and the importance of a mutual effort, honestly, is very important too. You both need to take a mutual effort in repairing that trust. Not only the person who, per se, broke in the trust of the relationship, but also the person who was hurt. Both have to take a part in rebuilding it. And both of you guys working on rebuilding it can also help the relationship heal, and even bring you guys closer together. And the steps to rebuild trust, honestly, is a lot. First things first, definitely take responsibility. For the person who broke the trust, this is where you need to own up to your mistakes. You need to say, hey, you know what? This is my mistake. I did this to you. I'm sorry I hurt you. And just own up to your actions without making excuses. Don't say the same excuse, oh, well, I did this because, hey, you were always busy, so this is why I did X, Y, and Z. No, don't do that. Just own up to your mistakes. If you know you did something wrong, own up to it. Don't make an excuse for it, because you're making an excuse for it. It's just being dismissive and not really taking the responsibility. So instead of saying, hey, I'm sorry I hurt you, just simply say, hey, I'm sorry for lying to you. I know it made you feel betrayed, and I'm sorry for it. Boom. Now, is that going to work in every relationship? Absolutely not. But that's a start to a foundation. 2, practice communication, honest communication. Be honest with each other for both partners, because transparency is key. I can't stress this enough. I know a lot of times people in relationships always say, oh, well, I didn't know how to tell you that X, Y, and Z happened. If you have good transparency and good trust if you have good trust and you're comfortable with your partner, there is absolutely no excuse why there should ever be a reason to where you feel like you can't come to your partner about something. Even if you are struggling with how to say it, just come on and say, hey, I need to talk to you about this, something that happened. Here it is. Because if you come up and you're transparent and you're just communicating, that's going to help you out in the long run. Honestly, have check-ins. I'm not saying check-ins as in check-ins on where they're going. No. I'm talking about check-ins as in checking the progress of the relationship. Hey, are you still good? How are we doing? You feel better? How is this process going for you? What can I do to continue to help you navigate this? Just being there really helps out. And setting boundaries, okay, and expectations. I know a lot of times people set boundaries and have high expectations when trust is broken. They have these things. Oh, I need to see your phone. I need to do this. I need to do that. No, be real. Be honest with yourself. Keep it 100. Set regular expectations. Rebuilding trust sometimes involves, setting up new boundaries, setting up new agreements and whatnot to prevent it from happening again. Whether that's sitting there, trust was broken through dishonesty, you can simply agree on openly communicating moving forward, like sharing plans or clarifying your intentions. And by clarifying plans and intentions, I mean like, hey, if you're going to hang out with some friends or whatever, communicate there. Say, hey, I'm going to hang out with so-and-so today. I'll let you know when I get there. Boom, I'll let you know, when I'm on my way back home. All right, cool. That's not saying that you don't trust your partner. First things first, you should always do that with your partner when you're in a relationship. You should always let them know what your plans are. You should never move by yourself and solo trying to hang out with friends and not communicating it. So you should always communicate everything because it's a dangerous world out here, But communicating that shows you're building trust into the relationship. And honestly, above all, like I always say here too, give it time. There is no time frame on when you can rebuild trust. I went through the same exact thing where, yeah, we talked about the issues. We navigated it because I had to look at everything like, okay, this person never gave me a reason to not trust them or not believe them. Yes, they didn't really destroy my trust, but that person really did hurt me. Am I still hurt to this day? Yeah, I have my moments. Do I trust them? Yeah, I trust them, but the trust is still not where it used to be at because that trust was broken. But I understand it's going to take time for me to get over that. And I also know that it takes time to fix trust issues. It's not going to be resolved in 2 weeks. It's not going to be resolved in a month or even 6 months. It can, but it can also take 6 months to a year or even longer, depending on how bad the trust was broken. So give it time and understand that, hey, it's going to take some real time and real hard work to improve that here. And also focus on the small daily things that they do to show that they care and that they're trying to earn your trust back. Whether it's, you know, them saying, hey, this is what happened, so-and-so called me, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Or they're telling you, hey, I'm hanging out with this person and you're not even asking them, they're being honest with you up front. That's cool. And then if you have to seek help from a professional, it's okay to go to couples counseling to get that work through. It's okay. You're human. We're human. It takes time to do that. Now, like I always said before, accountability goes a long way. If you're a red flags is a person who knows they broke your trust, they betrayed it, and they're not even trying to get it fixed. They're blaming you for the reason why why they did what they did. At that point, you don't even need to be with them. If they're blaming you for them breaking your trust, then that's something that you need to actually evaluate and see if you need to get out that relationship. Now, the green flags on that, on the flip side, the green flags is the ones that's sitting there going about and actually showing consistency. And of course, everybody who knows me knows I'm big on trust, I'm big on communication, and I'm big on consistency. If you're being consistent with it, boom, that's showing me that you're actually putting forth effort to rebuild the trust and make the relationship stronger. So I'm going to be more in tune to want to make it work with you versus being like, hey, you broke my trust, I'm out. You know, so again, when it comes to rebuilding trust after it's been damaged in the relationship, communication. You want to talk. You're going to want to talk about it. Acknowledge the pain. Okay? When you acknowledge the pain, yes, understand that it's going to be some rough moments and some words are going to be said. They're going to be feeling angry. They're going to be feeling hurt. It's going to be a lot of emotions, but acknowledge their pain. Once you break that person's trust and you tell them, acknowledge their pain, communicate, accountability, and being transparent. You do those things and work through it together, you guys can overcome the broken trust and get back better. And also just make sure too at the same time, encourage the engagement. So encourage them. Encourage your partner to continue to be transparent. Encourage them. Encourage to say, hey, I see that you're communicating more about, X, Y, and Z more, or just anything in particular. Just give props when props are due, because the little small things can go a long way. I know me personally, just hearing small words of, hey, I see you're doing better I'm seeing you working on this. It's great. Keep it up. That helps me become a better person. So if you're in a relationship where trust is on the repair side, acknowledge that your partner is doing the things to make the relationship better and earn your trust back. It's not to say like you're rewarding them, but you're giving them compliments like, hey, I see what you're doing. Keep doing it. So that way that person knows, hey, you see the change that they're making. You see that they're trying to become better. Okay? What tips do you guys have when it comes to rebuilding trust in a relationship? Do you believe that you need to work it out and actually acknowledge it and work through the problems? Or are you a one type of person who wants to go ahead and say, hey, once you break my trust, that's it, I'm out of here? Let me know in the comments below, because at the end of the day, hey, I like to hear what you guys got to say, okay? Now, on the next episode, we're going to talk more about friends and exes. Yeah, friends and exes. That's next on the JW Show. And of course, I hope you guys like the new format. I hope you guys like seeing me more through the weekdays now, because there's a lot of stuff coming here. The JW Show is now taking a little bit more time throughout the week, three times a week, with a bonus episode sometimes on Saturdays. So, of course, hit that notification bell. Make sure you guys subscribe to me. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Later, y'all.